It is no longer news that the former governor of Imo State, Mr. Ihedioha, has left the People's Democratic Party (PDP). Ihedioha was the PDP's eye in the southeast. There are so many questions that we are going to ask and also analyze in this video about the reason why he left the People's Democratic Party. Like, why did he not enter any party? Why did he form a movement, not a party? We are going to answer that shortly. But for now, let's look at what his supporters, who left PDP with him, are saying.
What we did was to come and tell the world why our principal, Right Honorable Ihedioha, left the party. The reasons have been profiled and they are all in this document which will be handed over to you. And to tell Imo that we have all collapsed into the Rebuild Imo movement to pursue our ideals, which is engendering good governance in the state and indeed Nigeria. No, it's not a new party. No, it's an association of like minds. It's a movement. All of us who belong to His Excellency's political family and those who are interested in engendering good government in Imo State have all followed the resignations, and immediately after the resignations, we all collapsed into the Rebuild Imo movement.
Well, that is from one of his supporters speaking on their decision or their principled decision to leave the People's Democratic Party. Now, let us listen to Ihedioha as he said that people who are following him are no longer willing to stay in PDP. And you know what that means. Listen to him while we come back to analyze the situation.
Chief Emeka Ihedioha, CON, thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you very much, Charles.
It took everything to bring you here.
Charles, I gave you my word that,
yes. And you kept your word. So I want to thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
We'll talk about the Rebuild Imo movement a little bit later in this conversation, but first let's talk about your resignation. Did you jump or were you pushed?
Thank you, Charles. It was something that was bound to happen. Insofar as the tendencies operating the party remained there. For quite some time, the warning shots were very clear. Just before the elections, yeah, there were issues, but it made sense for us to get into the election convinced to regain power at the federal level and a number of states. But of course, a number of things happened. But after the elections, then the issues came to the fore. And quite a number of us called for needs for discussions and resolutions of issues that had arisen. Now, rather than addressing those issues and responding to the barrage of demands, what you kept seeing was a further drift to the desires of the people, which, like I stated, were very much inconsistent with the vision and mission of the founding fathers of our party, which I would say had the privilege of being a founding member right back in 1998. Then my capacity as Director of Publicity of the People's Democratic Movement. And so to see your party got to the point where we got to, and then we were on a descent that was very undesirable. I felt there was need. I mean, if you continued on that path, it might derail you as a person and then derail the intentions and, of course, your large followership. So I acted essentially based on the desires of my large followership and, of course, my support base and my base back at home and nationally, who felt the party had lost its bearing and there was need for us to forge ahead. So we've been on it for quite.
Now, let us look at the reason why Ihedioha left the PDP. When you look at what happened during the last gubernatorial election in Imo State, Ihedioha willingly withdrew before the election. He was the flag bearer of the PDP in Imo State in the last election, but he withdrew. That speaks volume because the people of the Southeast, when you look at it, you will see that they have left PDP to Labour Party because of Obi's movement and obedience. So most of the people that are following this man our obedience. So it will be very difficult for you to rig election against them or for you to have your way out. That was how so many people lost election during the last general election in 2023. Now, the reason why this man left PDP and have not joined the Labour Party is because of this. When he left PDP, he visited and ex-OT, the governor of Abia State. He spoke with Mr. Peter Obi. Now, this man knows where he is going. He knows his mission. But now, let us understand that Labour Party has an issue that they are resolving. It's almost resolved now. But because of that, this man have to form a movement, rebuilding or building Imo movement, something like that. So the purpose of this movement is to sustain the momentum of his defection from the People's Democratic Party before he will announce the next place he is going. So he don't want to announce the place he is going. Maybe people will sabotage his intention, his mission, his vision, and ambition. So he is very smart, and this is a very good calculation that every smart politician must do. You leave a party, not joining another party, you form a movement. So now the question is this. In 2027 or 2028, I don't know when they are going to have the election of the gubernatorial office in Imo State, Emeka Ihedioha definitely would like to flag the Labour Party ticket. If Labour Party could give him, ticket to go for the office of the governor, there is no doubt about that he will win the election, or he may, because it is an election. You cannot just know the will of the whole people. Now, come to think of it, Hope Uzodinma, the incumbent governor of Imo State, has been there like a god. Anything he says happen. They have changed so many things and killed democracy in Imo State right from the day the Supreme Court overturned the election and said that Hope Uzodinma won the gubernatorial election. The people of Imo State have experienced the good, the bad, the ugly about this current administration. Now, the question is this. When the next election comes, how effective will Hope Uzodinma be? Will he still use his talks, all those things he do during election, all those manipulations, riggings that allegedly happen in Imo State and so many places? Will they still do it? That is the question that we are going to answer then. But for the now, this is the reason why Ihedioha left the People's Democratic Party. He left because the PDP is not having strength and people in his domain are no longer in PDP. So he's just like a tree standing in the bush where they have leveled all other trees around it. So any wind that comes could just take it away. That is the situation Ihedioha found himself. And I believe that he is going to come out stronger. Let's see what is going to happen next. Let me know what you think on the comment section about his movement.